Hello everyone, welcome to our new English video today. And I am Magara, a teacher of English at Trilip New Generation School. Today, I'm going to teach you a lesson which is in Unit 4, Special Places, Writing Skill, a travel guide entries. And after this video, you will be able to learn to write entry to a travel guide through the modal text. And number 2, you will be able to learn and practice using qualifiers really, very, quite in writing and speaking. Right, so at first, I'd like you to pay attention to our previous video and homework. Right, let's go with me on the board. What did you learn in the last video? As I remember, in the last video, you learned about grammar to enough. There are 7 rules among the to and enough. 4 rules for to and 3 rules for enough. Right, so I hope everybody remember the rule in order to do your quiz, exercises and homework. If you do not remember the rule, it's hard for you to do exercise, especially quiz and homework. Right, so let's get started with me with rule of 2. So there are 4 rules. So number 1 is when you want to use to, first rule, to plus adjective. For example, too short. And rule number 2, to plus adverb. For example, too fast or too quickly. So quickly is an adverb. You have to use to. And rule number 3, too much plus uncountable noun. For example, too much waters. Water is an uncountable noun, right? And rule number 4, too many plus countable noun. For example, too many students. And the meanings of too is more than we expect, more than we need. For example, like I said again and again, I need 5 English grammar book and then you give me 100 grammar book. So that I say there are too many grammar book for me. Now take a look at the rule of enough. So there are 3 rules of enough. The first one is adjective plus enough. For example, warm enough, hot enough. And number 2, you have to use adverb plus enough. For example, fast enough, early enough. The last rule of enough is enough plus noun. For example, enough money, enough time to study. When you want to use enough, it means as much as you need. For example, I need 5 grammar book and you give me 5 grammar book. So it is enough for me. Now I want you to go through the homework with me because as I remember, last video you got a homework about to and enough. And this homework, I like to go a little bit quickly. And I just want to check with you the correct answer and tell you the reason why we choose this one, why not that one. Right, look at the whiteboard here. Alright, again, I don't want to read all the whole text. You can spend your time reading your whole text in order to understand the meaning of the text. But now I just want to go directly to number 1 and number 2 and then tell you the reason why we choose this one and why we choose that one. Right, look at number 1. And for century, it was, you see, it was big enough or enough big. I should remember the rule. So when you want to use enough, you have to put adjective in front of enough. So big is an adjective. So the correct answer is big enough. Look at number 2. When the Roman Empire became not big enough or too big. The suitable answer is too big because big is an adjective. And as you remember the rule, to plus adjective. Here, right? And number 3, because it is strong enough or isn't strong enough. As you can see the whole sentence, they said you can walk on the entire walls, because it is, you see, you can't walk. Can't walk, it means the wall has problem. So what is the problem? The problem is isn't strong enough. So the correct answer is isn't strong enough. And strong is an adjective, right? And number 4, and it's too old, not old enough. So what is the correct answer? So you can't walk on the wall because it isn't strong enough and it is too old. Because of it is too old, you cannot walk on the wall. Right, and number 5, if you have too time or enough time. Like I said again, the last rule of enough plus noun, and time is a noun. So the correct answer is enough time, right? You can walk next to the wall for 135 kilometers, but go in the summer because in the winters it's to wait or wait enough? The correct answer is to wait. So they recommend you to go on summer. In winter it is to wait, you cannot go, right? So that's it for our revision and homework checking, and I hope at least you remember the rule. Next, I want to turn your attention to our new lesson, but before we go directly to our new lesson, I want you to see two pictures on the board. You have to see the picture and tell me what is it in English. Right, let's start. One. Alright, so can you tell me what do we call it in English? I think you understand and you know this picture because you often see these pictures in the park, in some schools. They put it for the children to play, right? The word we should say about this picture is playground. You know playground? Playground is the place where people, especially children, can play in. So they put in the park or school for children to play. Not really for the children. Sometimes young people, teenagers can also enjoy playing with their children, right? Picture number 2 here. What is it? I think you know the meanings in Khmer and you know and you understand these pictures. But what do we call it in English? In English we call it bench. Bench is a long seat for several people. You can sit 3, 4, 5 people. It depends on how long the bench is. So I hope you all understand the words with the pictures. Before we read the modal text, I want you to look at the picture here because this picture is about the place where we read in our modal text. According to the pictures, what is it? You can tell me. You can guess what is it. You can say it is forest, lakes, or river, or park, garden. Right? But where is it and how big is it? Let's start. This is a park located in London. It's named Hampstead Heath. It's covering 320 hectares. So it's really big. Most people in London always relax in the park because it's really natural and people can enjoy seeing a very beautiful view. Right. Okay, now go with me reading our modal text. Before reading the text, I want you to look at the two exercises here and please remember what you are going to do while you are reading. Example number 1, read the modal text and complete the word in the box. There are 4 words to complete: teenagers, tourists, restaurant, and children. So there are 4 spaces in our reading text, and while you are reading, you have to think about what words should be completed in each space. And number 2, in what order does this information appear in the text? You see, from A to D, you have to read and see what information should be first, second, third, or the last. And then you read and think about this information as well. But after reading, you can also check the answer with me. Alright, let's start. Hidden London. Hampstead Heath London is a special place. It's near the city centers, but it's a very big park. It's a really good place to relax, especially when weather is sunny. The Heath is a really good place for blah 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 to visit because there is something for everyone to do. There are playgrounds for quite young blah blah blah. But also a lot of spaces with benches where blah 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 can hang out with their friends and chat. In the summer, people swim or go fishing in the lake. In Hampstead Village, there are a lot of small bars and blah 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 where you can have a coffee and a meal. My favorite place is Louis, a Hungarian bakery and cake shop. It's not very expensive and cakes are really good, but it does get quite crowded, so you need to get there early. When you are in London, you need to get out of the city to go to Hampstead Heath. Right, that's it. So you can see that there are 4 spaces here, number 1, number 2 until number 4. What is the correct answer for number 1? As you can see again, the Heath is a really good place for blah 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 because to visit, because it should be good place for tourists to visit, right? Because you see the word to visit. And number 2, the playground for quite young teenagers or young children. So the correct answer is young children, right? Next, number 3, but also a lot of spaces with benches where teenagers can hang out with their friend and chat. And last one, Hampstead Village, there's a lot of small bar and restaurants. So that's it for exercise number 1. I hope you all get so far with our reading and doing a very short exercise. This is not a big aim for our lesson, but just want you to understand the modal text they describe a place like that, right? And exercise number 2, in what orders information that you found in the text, which one is first and which one is second, third, and the last one. So number 1 is children playground. As you can see, while you are reading the text, you will find the word the playground, right? And number 2, you also found the word lake. After playground, you will find the word lake. The lake, you go fishing in the lake, right? And number 3 is Hampstead Village. In the Hampstead Village, you can, for example, like you can go to have something, a cake, to eat something like that. And then last one is bakery and cake shop. This is the last information they mentioned in our reading modal text. Alright, that's it for our exercises, and I hope at least you understand our reading text and our reading modal, because after this task and after the next task you are going to write by your own and describe as a modal text. Right, don't waste the time. I want you to go to the next step, which is about language focus. That is very important for you to use in your writing in order to describe a very strong or emphasize your sentence. Look at here, language focus, we are talking about the qualifiers, really, very, quite, and not very. So as you can see an arrow on the whiteboard, the really with the additional sign, a plus, and followed by very, quite, and not very. So when I say it is really interesting, it means the place is 100% interesting. But when I say it is very interesting, it means not really interesting. When you use very, it means 80 or 90% of the place is interesting. And when I say it is quite interesting, so it means less strength than really and very. And when you say not very, so it means no, it isn't interesting. Right, so just want to tell you some important point to use with really, very, quite, and not really. All these words you use with adjective and adverb to emphasize or to empower the sentence. You just look at the sentence on the whiteboard and then look at the arrow here. I think you can understand the meanings of each words, because the keyword I use it in red color in order to mention that we are talking about these 4 words and with this meaning. When you use really, really interesting to you. For example, your mother is a really beautiful girl for you. So when you say your mother is a really beautiful girl for you, it means no girl can compare with your mother. But when you say my mother is a very beautiful girl for me, so it means some girl can compare with your mother, right? And if you say my mother is a quite beautiful girl for me, so mean most girl can compare with your mother as well as with you. Again, really is the top one, and very is the lower than really, and quite is lower than really and very, and not very is the lowest one. So you can go back to our reading text and see how they use this word in their writing. You can find the meaning. Is it hard or empower or just simple, right? So in order to check whether you understand the word really, very, quite, or not very, just do exercise here with me. Match 1 to 7 with A to G. Right, you have to read 1 to 7 and match with the suitable answer A to G over there. Right. So number 1, I spent 5 or 10 minutes looking for the shop. So number 2, it's the big house. There is no car on the islands. Number 4, the cafe isn't very expensive. Number 5, the museum didn't have many good paintings. Number 6, I enjoy cycling around the city today. And number 7, the garden is really beautiful. It's just really beautiful. You see? And then look at the answer over there. A, so it is a really quiet place for holiday. B, it's got a pond with fountains and lots of flowers. C, it wasn't very interesting. D, it's got 6 bedrooms. E, but I was quite tired when I got home. F, we ate there for $10. G, it was quite hard to find. Alright, so I hope you get some idea and with right. So number 1, I spent 5 or 10 minutes to look for the shop. So the letter, it should be go to the letter G, right? It was quite hard to find, right? Find and look for is the same meaning. And number 2, it is a big house, so it should be go to letter D because it's a big house. It's got 6 bedrooms. And then 3, there is no car on islands. Go to letter A. So it is a really quiet place for holiday, right? So no car, no tourists. And number 4, the cafe isn't very expensive. So it should go to letter F. We ate there for $10. And number 5, the museum didn't have many paintings. It should go to letter C. So it wasn't very interesting. And number 6, I enjoy cycling around the city today. So number 6 should go to letter E. But I was quiet when I got home, right? After cycling. And the last one, the garden isn't really beautiful. So the last letter is letter B. A pond with the fountain and a lot of flowers. So that's it for our practice. Really, very, quite, and not very. So if you have any question, just drop your comment below the video so that I can reply you, or you can chat into the group. We'll explain you something more. And last things of this video, I want you to do homework. So look at the homework here. This homework is required to write 150 words. So you have to use to write to describe the place like our model text. You can describe the place in Cambodia or around the world. It's up to you. But you can follow the 7 questions I give you here. What is the name of the place? So you have to show the name of the place. And number 2, what sort of place is it? So it means the kinds of garden, beach, castle, market, or museum, something like that. And number 3, where is it? So you have to tell, for example, in our reading text, it is located in London, right? So what place, what kinds of place, and where is located? And number 4, what is it like? So you have to describe it's a big, it's beautiful, it's interesting, nice view, something like that. You can go to our reading model text to find more some information and to see if you understand the reading text. I think you do this homework very easy. And number 5, what do you like about it? Just give your opinion. Alright, number 6, is there anything bad about the place? So you have to talk about is there any bad things when you are going to that place? For example, crowded, for example, quiet, for example, like a traffic jam or something, or far, something like that, right? And number 7, the last question, make some recommendation for your friend and your people, right? For example, you should go at the weekend or at a weekday, something like that, right? Or in the summer or in the winter, right? That's it about our guideline. And this homework, I want you to complete it and then send me to my Telegram or send to our group so that I can check one by one. This is an individual work, so that I don't know what place you choose to write. You may choose different place so that we cannot check together in our next video. So I need to check one by one. So don't forget to do your homework. Last thing is doing quiz. I will give you the link into our group and then you do the quiz. Right, and thank you for today, and thank you for your paying attention for watching this video. If you have any question, drop here or drop into our group. Right, thank you. Goodbye. Good luck.